right?
Yes, sir.
EC2 instance. So for example, if we consider if I want
Yes,
to
sir.
install that, I need to follow some steps. So for example, first I need to update the kernel, then after that I need to install the Apache 2. After that, some configuration changes I will do it with respect to the port level, with respect to the user level, right? With respect to the folder level, I'm changing some permissions, I'm creating some users, I'm making some changes with respect to the port level. Default port I won't use it because it's not the best practice to host an application with the default port. So I will change the port, then I will restart the application. So all this also comes under configuration management with respect to an software level, with respect to an application level, right? These are all configurations. We are changing the configuration. Yesterday we have done the RDS configurations, right? We created the user, we set the password. After that, in application server in elastic bin stack, we are defining environment variable like RDS name, username, host name, RDS host name, RDS password, right? So we are defining some parameters. So that's all about the configuration. It will use that parameters to connect to the database from the application server. These are all considered as a configuration management. So any application which we want to spin it up, so that needs some configuration. As a plain level, we can't do anything, right? So we can install. After that, we'll do some modification with respect to the requirement level. After that, we will do the deployment with respect to an application server or web server, right? So depending on that, we will deploy. So we'll deploy our application to the dedicated folder. For example, if it's a web server, it's a var www html. Then if it's a Tomcat, we'll deploy to the web apps folder. So every application will have its own specified path. So these are all we'll consider as a configuration management, right? And continuous deployment. So deployment, what is meant by deployment?
So making application publicly available.
Right. Publicly available is fine, but with respect to DevOps, I'm talking. What is the deployment? You're doing some application deployments, right? You have deployed var file, you have deployed the index.html files. What is that? Deploy and Reno. You don't know what is deploy? ಡಿಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲದೇನೆ ಡೆಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರಾ? ಡೆಪ್ಲಾಯ್ ಅಂದ್ರೇನು? ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಎ ಕಾಪಿ, ರೈಟ್? Copying of your binaries to the dedicated folder. But that needs some steps. Simply, we can't copy directly. If you have ever copy and paste it to the dedicated folder, it's not the a right way to deploy. That will have some prerequisites. First, we should follow it. The steps, deployment steps. First, we make sure that to take the existing backup because we are not sure whether the recent application which you are trying to deploy it may work or may not work. We're not sure because the platform is different, The application was tested in the local system platform is different, and where we are trying to deploy to the platform like a development or testing or a production, that platform is different. So we can't give the 100% assurance that always this will work as it is, which worked as a development platform. So that's why what we'll do, we'll take a backup first, the existing application. For example, we already hosted an application with 1.0 version. Now we are trying to deploy a 2.0 version of application. So before deploying that, we will take a backup. Then we'll stop the application server. Then copy the latest application to the dedicated folder. Then after that, we'll start the application. Then we will validate it once, whether the application deployment was successful or not, like version 2.0, whether it's deployed successful or not. If it's not deployed successfully, that means if it's throwing any error, if you can't able to access it from the browser, so you need to validate, you need to debug it, and you need to identify the logs, why it's failing. So after validating all these things, then you will find out the what exactly is failing. Maybe platform issue or application issue or code issue. What types of issues which is persist inside that application. Depending on that, we will take an action. So this is the deployment step. The current deployment so far, whatever we have learned, it's a instance level deployment. Okay, it's an instance level deployment. We'll follow these steps whenever we'll do the deployment of latest application, latest versions, or any bug fixes, right? If you consider Tomcats, right? So Tomcat we have used for our application server. So in Tomcat we are deploying a war files, right? The next, the same war file, if it's enhanced, if I'm trying to deploy that same application to the Tomcat folder, I can't deploy directly for a running an application server. So I need to stop the application server first, then copy the latest application, then start the application. But before that, I need to take a backup. If something goes wrong with the latest application, I will be rollback. Rollback means previous one, 1.0 ಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ rollback ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. Rollback is nothing but ಮತ್ತೆ old version ನೇ ನಾವು copy paste ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. Because the latest one which is not working, so I'm rollbacking to the previous version. Clear? So this is the deployment steps for instance level deployment. Okay, for container level deployment, it's different. That we'll see later. Once we cover the containerization, then after that we'll see that that will called as a zero downtime deployment. But this is a downtime deployment because you are stopping an application, then you do the process, then after that you will start the application. So this needs a downtime is nothing but during that time frame, our application won't be accessible. We will get some messages, right? Our maintenance, HDFC maintenance is going on. You won't be able to access the net banking or mobile application during this time frame. Please make sure that any transaction before or after this time frame, right? You get some messages, right? Maintenance. Receive ಮಾಡಿಲ್ವಾ ಯಾರು ಕೂಡ? HDFC, if you are holding HDFC account, recently they have maybe few days before they sent a message, right? So basically they will do midnight deployment, maybe after 12 or 1 or early morning, because they don't want to disturb the customer relationship between the application. Okay, so that's all about downtime deployment. Okay, so now as a part of configuration management, so far we have learned about okay, the creation of instance. After creation of instance, Once the instance is created, after that we are installing some applications over there like web server or application server. After that we'll configure some changes with respect to and requirement. After that, we are deploying an application to make that application has to be publicly available. So all these steps, for a single instance we can do it, no problem at all, right? It may take around 10 to 15 minutes max, right, if you are very expert. But think about if you have too many number of servers, same action you need to repeat it, right? Just think, in development I need to host this application 20 servers. What you will do? Okay, 20 servers launching you can run at a single go. That's fine. Then what about the configuration? Installation you can do it. Like in user data you can pass your user data. But what about this configuration? Like user creation, or I want to do some port change. I want to copy some static files to the server. I want to modify some files. Is it possible? ಆಗುತ್ತಾ ಯೂಸರ್ ಡೇಟಾದಲ್ಲಿ? User data will have a very limited time frame, right? So you can pass only your commands. But what if in case I want to control multiple servers? Okay, first time it's fine. Okay, anyhow, I will give the count as 10 or 20 servers at a time. I will choose anyhow. It's only one OS, then only I can opt this, right? If I have multiple OS, it's not possible. Alba? Single OS adre, I can give the count as 20, then I will choose Ubuntu, then I will create instance. But all 20 servers should be Ubuntu. What if in case 5 servers should be Red Hat, 5 servers should be CentOS, 10 servers should be Ubuntu, then three times I need to initiate. Then after that, once initiation is done, then I need to log into that server. Then I will do all these, configuration things has to be done, right? Manual intervention. Are you getting my point? So that manual intervention, we can do it with respect to very limited servers, right? Okay, if I have 2 or 3 servers, okay, no problem at all. I can do it. I will log into that server. I'm expert in Linux command. Okay, I will do it faster way. What if in case you have more than 50 servers, more than 100 servers, more than 1,000 servers? ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ?
It will consume more time.
More time, and also human intervention ಇದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ human errors will be more, right?
Yes.
You are aware of human errors, right? ನಾವೇ ನೋಡ್ತಿರ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ ಡೈಲಿ. While typing, we'll do most of the mistakes, spellings, syntax errors. Sometimes we will miss some steps while creation it. If we have the document also, copy paste ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದ್ಸತಿ ನಾವು ಮಿಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. That will all called as human errors. So manual intervention, if it increases, human errors also will increases. So to avoid all this type of human errors, to make it more faster way, to make our application has to be configure application servers or multiple servers configure very faster, we can opt Ansible. Ansible is a open source automation platform. Ansible can help you with the configuration management, application deployment, task automation. It can also do the IT orchestration. Sorry, where you have to run the task in sequence to create the chain of events, which must happen on several different server or devices. So basically, Ansible can control thousands of servers at a time. You got that point. So Ansible is like a used for configuration management. What is the configuration management is nothing but the changing the port, configuring the application, installing the software. After installing the software, doing some changes with respect to the files, doing some changes with respect to the folders. All these things we'll consider as a configuration to make that application has to be work flawlessly. So all these changes needs to be done. So these are all configuration management. Continuous deployments means once the application installation is done, that means application server or a web server is installation is done. After that we need to copy our application, right? For example, index.html files or war files, jar files, that files needs to be copied to the dedicated folder like var www html folder or slash op slash tomcat slash web apps folder. So even that also is possible from the Ansible tool. First, you can do the configuration, installation, changing the port, all these things you can do it. After that, you can copy your binaries. Binaries is nothing but executable files, right? The prepared application binaries so like war files, jar files, index.html files, node.js files, all these files you can copy to the multiple servers, several servers. At a time, you can copy to 100 servers. Simultaneously, it will do. You no need to run 1,000 times. Just run only one time. It will do deploy of thousands of servers. It will do the configurations of thousands of servers. Just few minutes. The same time taken for a single instance, how much time it will take, same time it will be consumed for all the 1,000 servers. That means for a single server, if I want to do these steps, it may take around 1 minute. In the same minute, for 1,000 servers also, it will do it parallelly. At a time, it will spread in all the 1,000 servers. It will do install. It will do copy. It will do configure everything. Whatever the action you want to perform, Ansible will take care. Clear? Okay. Yesterday, I just want to show that part. Yesterday, we are in the middle, right? That certificate initialization that actually issued the certificates. See, the status is issued. The thing is, after creation of this certificate, we need to create the record. Okay, for example, see, request certificate. Once I request the certificate, that certificate is initiate, right? Like this. So once this certificate is initiated, it will be in a pending state. After that, you need to create the record in route 53. Okay, like this. Once you just create the record, it will show your domain name, select and create record. Once that record is created, it will be validated and status should be in a issued state. Once it's done, what we have to do now, certificate is initiated for a particular domain. Now that domain need to map for what? We already mapped it, right? ಒಂದು load balancer ಗೆ map ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. Remember yesterday?
Yes, sir.
First we created instance. After that we created target group. After that, on top of it, we created application load balancer. On top of it, we created the DNS. Then after that, we map this DNS to application load balancer, so that if I hit the DNS name, that is SHS Tech Academy class.com, I get the dedicated application, right? Like this, for example, SHS Tech academy class.com. If I hit this, let me hit http. See, I will get this application, right? Now it's point to where? It's pointing to load balancer. Load balancer is pointing to target group. Target group is pointing to instance. Inside instance, I have this website, correct? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now, next, what's the step is in application load balancer, we just configure for HTTP. Remember, application load balancer
Yes,
ನಾವು
sir.
just HTTP ಮಾತ್ರ select ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ. So we need to make that changes. We need to add one more rule, HTTPS. Okay, what I will do, I will go to load balancer. Okay, load balancer. Then select your load balancer. This is my load balancer. I select it. Then go to listener. Then here add rule, add listener. Okay, select here HTTPS. Okay, okay. Why it's showing 444 means because it's already. Let me remove this listener. Wait. Okay, now in your case, you have only one listener, right? See, currently we have only one role, that is HTTP 80. Correct?
Yes, sir.
This is how we created it, right? We have only opened the 80 port HTTP listener. Now I need to add one more listener for HTTPS because now I created a certificate for the domain. Now it's a fully qualified HTTPS domain. Now once I select HTTPS, it will be defaultly selecting 443 port. Next, where I should forward to the target group. Then come down. Where is your certificate source? Is it from ACM or is it from IIM or do I need to import any certificate? Now we already initiated from ACM. The certificates is available from ACM, right? ACM means certificate manager, Amazon certificate manager. We initiated right yesterday.
Yes, sir.
The same thing.
Yes, sir.
Now go to this drop down. If it initiated successfully, it will show here. Okay, see, we initiated and it's able to available right now. I will select this. That's it. Then add. Once it's added, now go to your same domain. Just hit from access it from HTTPS now. Enter. See, now it's secure. Connection is secure. If you go there, certificate is valid and organization issued by Amazon RSA. Organization is Amazon. Clear? That's it.
Yes,
Only
sir.
these steps. First domain create ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. Domain create ಮಾಡಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ then we will map that domain to directly to the IP or to the load balancer. Now that will be work as HTTP default protocol. Now if you want to make it as HTTPS, we need certificates, right? That certificates will be provided by certificate manager. Go to certificate manager, that is Amazon certificate manager. Create certificate for that particular domain, fully qualified domain. Okay. Once that certificate is issued, so once the certificate creation is in a pending state, create the record. Then that will create the record in your Amazon Route 53 like this. I will show. ಓಕೆ, ಪೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ಆಗೇನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಎ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಒಂದು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಒನ್ಸ್ ಯು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ದ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್, ಲೈಕ್ ಸಿ ನೇಮ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಆಡ್. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಟೈಪ್. ಸಿ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಸರ್ಟಿಫಿಕೇಟ್ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸಿ ನೇಮ್. ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವ್ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಆಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಅಂತ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಸಿ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ ದ root traffic. Okay, so once it's added, then only the certificate in a issued state. Otherwise it's keep on in pending state only. Okay, once the certificate is issued, you can map that to your domain or the load balancer. Make sure that in load balancer your port should be opened for HTTPS. Okay, only that's the step to make your application securely work. Clear? Understood?
Sir.
Right. So now how Ansible will work. Think we have multiple servers, like I have one, two, three, four, and five. This is server one, server two, three, four, and five. Now I want to configure, um, for example, okay, we will consider Apache 2 only. It's a basic, very simple one. So now I want to install Apache 2 here, and I want to change the port. It shouldn't be work as 80 port. I want to make it as to be work on 81 port. Okay, now what I will do, I will log into this instance, then I will install HTTPD or Apache 2, and once the installation is done, I will check the status. After status check, then I will go for the configuration file. Over there I will change from 80 to 81 port. Then once that port change is done, after that I will restart the Apache 2. Then again connect to this server. Again I will do the same steps, right? Same repetitive steps over here. Same repetitive steps over here, here, and here. Once that is done, what I will do, let me get my application files like index.html and all from the Git or from my local system. I will copy to this server, then I will copy to the dedicated folder, HTML folder, then I will validate. Same thing here, 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 here. Instead of that, I want to avoid this, manual efforts, repetitive efforts. What I will do, I will use Ansible. How Ansible will work? Ansible have a, you know, methodology of master and worker nodes, or some of people will call it as control and worker. Some may call it as master slave, but the proper wording should be master and worker. What we'll do, we will install Ansible in one of the server. Okay, so that server where we install the Ansible, that will be treated as what? Master or control node. We'll call it as control node. Okay, where we have installed the Ansible will be considered as control or master node. Now, all these five servers will be treated as what?
Worker.
Worker node. Worker 01, worker 02, next 03 and so on, right? So now I will say that, hey master, control all these servers whenever I need. Okay, what I will mention to the master, connect to these servers and install Apache 2. Okay, it will do it. Okay, it will take a control of all this server and it will install. After that, I will say that, okay, change the port. It will change the port. Do the deployment. It will do the deployment. How it will do? Okay, which language it will understand, right? So for now, we have understand about the shell scripting part, Linux commands. By using this, we can interact with the Linux server. Then how Ansible will work? To make my actions to be performed, how should I tell to the Ansible? How Ansible will understand my wordings? Ansible will work on YAML language. YAML or YML, we'll call it as YML. All the files should be have an extension of YML. YML is one type of language where we can define our actions, but this will very strict for indentation. Okay, if you miss a single space, it will different behavior. Suddenly, it will change. ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಆಡ್ ಆದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ it will behave differently because it will treat that as module or it will treat that as action. Okay, so if you want to say something to the Ansible, do this thing, it should be always YAML language. Understood? YAML language ಯಾವ ತರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, let me show some basic files like this. Ansible like this. Okay, just it's an example of an employee record. See here, name, then job, then skill, then employed. Under that, they will specify foods. If you observe foods, below that, the name of that foods like apple, orange, strawberry, mango, it will be having some space, right? We'll just discuss about that. Okay, next upcoming classes. Okay, how this will differ if the space two spaces, why we have to give two spaces, okay, why it's segregated after foods, why it's moved a little bit, and then why language again it will be in the same line, then all these languages are in a different line, right? So we'll discuss that. Okay, this is basic YAML language syntax. Okay, and if you have any doubt, okay, next upcoming, once we start this Ansible, once we started execution, the playbooks and all, if you have any doubts, please refer in Ansible documentation page, docs.ansible.com. Here, Ansible T will provide each and every modules, definitions, declaration, example, everything is available here. With respect to Ansible, if you have any doubts, any clarifications, if you want at any time, visit this documentation page. Okay, every tool have its own community documentation page. Like AWS also AWS documentation page is there. Ansible also Ansible documentation page is there. For each and every tool, they have their own community documentation. Okay, always prior their community documentation. Okay, it will be looks like lengthy and very multiple pages will be spread over there, but actually we'll get the right valued explanation. But in other documentation page, they will refer these pages and they simplified it and they will deliver to you. But some of the times even that documentation also they don't have any clue. In that situation you can visit this documentation page, but best preferably community documentation will be always preferable. Okay, so now, and how this master connected to these worker nodes, right? There should be some connection, right? Like, for example, yesterday we talked about VPC peering, right? So VPC peering is connection between connecting between the multiple VPCs, right? So for that we will do the VPC peering. But here how? Which protocol it will use? Do I need to install anything on the worker nodes, right? So some connection needs to be established from the master to worker, right? So then only it can able to communicate between the worker nodes. Now this will use the protocol of SSH. Ansible will use the SSH protocol, that is a secured protocol, right? We can easily trust this protocol because it's a default protocol used to connect to the remote server. If it's using the same protocol for its connection establishment, then we can blindly believe in this tool. Similarly for Ansible, we do have some other configuration management and deployment tool. And similarly, like Ansible, we have Chef and we have Puppet and a few other tools are there. But these two are competitor with Ansible, Chef and Puppet. So configuration management, continuous deployment ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ these three tools will be coming to picture. So preferably we'll go for Ansible. Why? Because Ansible is have some rich features. That is, let me edit here. Features. First one is agentless. What is agentless? Agentless means no need to install any agent in worker nodes or management. Understood? We no need to install anything on worker node. Okay, it's great, right? Because we are not installing any extra softwares to the worker node. If I could have installing something on the worker node, then it will be hectic, right? First time ಆಗಿರ್ಲಿ, last time ಆಗಿರ್ಲಿ, one time ಆಗಿರ್ಲಿ. If I want to install something to connect from my master to worker node, if it have agent application, then in thousand servers I need to install as the first time, right? Something plugin or something need to be installed over there, then only it will connect. Puppet and Chef will do the that type of architecture. Puppet and Chef, it's not agentless, it's a agent based architecture. We need to install something on worker nodes to perform connection establishment between the master and worker. That's why Ansible is popular compared to other two. Okay, understood.
Yes, sir.
Next, built on top of Python and hence provide provides lot lot of Python functionality. Okay, it built by Python. Okay, all this complete Ansible built by Python. So definitely, if it's built by Python, it will give the more functionality about the Python's language. Okay, next, the main important thing is it will use SSH protocol for secure connection between master and worker nodes. And it follows push based architecture for sending configuration. What is push based? Push based ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? Pull based ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಮತ್ತೆ what is meant by git pull and git push? What is push based or pull based architecture? ಏನ್ ನಿದ್ದೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಎಲ್ಲ? Okay, if you people are not responding, I will stop it here. Okay, see you then tomorrow. Bye.